Imagine a peaceful morning shattered by a scream. "Control that beast or I'll call the cops." That was the first time Karen met my therapy dog, Milo. And from that moment, she made it her life mission to destroy our peace. Today, you're about to hear how her petty crusade spiraled into legal humiliation. Thanks to my lawyer neighbor who shut her down so hard, she may never file another complaint again. I moved into my quiet suburban neighborhood for one reason: healing. After a rough year, stress, burnout, and panic attacks, my therapist recommended a trained emotional support dog. Milo was perfect. Soft golden fur, gentle eyes, a calm presence that could pull me out of spiraling anxiety. He didn't bark, didn't destroy things, didn't cause trouble. He just existed like sunshine on four paws. But to Karen, he was apparently a threat to civilization. My first run-in with her happened 3 days after moving in. I was sitting on the porch, Milo resting quietly at my feet, when she marched over like she owned the street. Short blonde haircut, sunglasses despite the shade, and a clipboard. Yes, a clipboard like she was inspecting for violations. "Your dog barked last night," she snapped. I blinked. Milo hadn't even whined. "Are you sure it was him?" "I know what I heard. This is a quiet neighborhood. We don't tolerate animals disturbing people." I tried staying calm, therapy breathing exercises, counting to 3, all of it. Milo's a registered therapy dog. He helps me with severe anxiety. Her lips twitched in disgust. Therapy dog? So basically a pet with an excuse. That stung, but I stayed polite. "He's fully trained." She scoffed. "If I hear even one more sound, I'll file a formal complaint." I watched her stomp away, stunned. I tried to brush it off. New neighborhood. Maybe she was just having a bad day. Spoiler, she wasn't. Over the next week, I noticed her peeking from behind curtains. She'd circle the sidewalk when Milo and I walked. She once even recorded us on her phone while whispering into a walkie-talkie, like she was doing undercover surveillance. And then it happened. A letter taped to my door. Noise violation. Formal notice. Allegedly, Milo howled all morning while he was at a vet checkup. Karen had declared war. I stood holding that letter, heart pounding, trying not to fall back into the panic I worked so hard to escape. The unfairness crawled. I moved for peace, for recovery, and was defending my dog's existence. I didn't know it yet, but someone next door had been watching, and they were about to change everything. The letter shook me, but what happened next twisted everything. That same afternoon, while I sat on my porch trying to calm my racing thoughts, my next-door neighbor, Daniel, walked over. Sharp suit, calm posture, a soft smile. Milo trotted to greet him, tail wagging gently. Daniel knelt to pet him, then looked up at me. "Rough first week?" he asked. I forced a laugh. "More like a welcome party from hell." He nodded knowingly. "Karen?" That one word carried centuries of neighborhood trauma. I held up the fake violation. He read it, eyebrows rising. "This isn't from the city." Relief and anger clashed inside me. "She taped it herself." Daniel sighed. "She pulls stunts like this. But filing false notices? That's illegal." Illegal. The word clicked. I had been thinking like a stressed person trying to survive. Daniel thought like someone trained to fight back. "I'm an attorney," he added. "And trust me, she doesn't want to play legal games with me." For the first time all week, my breathing steadied. I wasn't alone. Later that evening, Karen struck again. I heard a loud knock. 3 sharp bangs like she was executing a search warrant. When I opened the door, she shoved a clipboard at my chest. "Second warning. Your dog barked again." Milo sat behind me, quiet. Head tilted like he too wondered if she needed professional help. "He hasn't made a sound," I said firmly. "Ma'am," she snapped, "I don't care if he's your so-called therapy dog. He disturbs me, and I have every right to complain." Her voice kept rising. A porch light flicked on across the street. Curtains shifted. She wanted an audience. Before I could respond, another voice cut in. Calm. Cold. Precise. "Actually," Daniel said, stepping onto my porch, "he has rights, and you're violating them." Karen turned, startled. Excuse me? Daniel remained composed. Submitting fraudulent complaints, harassment, recording without consent, and impersonating an authority. I suggest you stop before you face real consequences. Her jaw dropped. She sputtered. I was just documenting? Daniel finished. Great. Then you'll enjoy the part where we document your behavior. Karen paled. Without another word, she spun around and stormed away, muttering threats that sounded more like panicked excuses. My knees felt weak, not from fear, but from the sudden weight lifting off me. Daniel turned to me. From now on, save everything. Timestamps, notes, video if needed. She tries again. We handle it properly. For the first time, I actually felt safe here. Milo pressed his head against my leg like he sensed the shift. And deep down, I knew. This wasn't over yet. But now I had help. And Karen had a problem. The storm had only begun, but I finally felt ready. The next morning felt lighter. For the first time since moving in, I could sip coffee on my porch without bracing for Karen's next ambush. Milo lay at my feet, peaceful as ever, sun warming his fur. I let myself believe maybe, just maybe, things had calmed down. I was wrong. At 10:15 a.m., a loud bang, bang, bang hit my door again. Milo lifted his head, ears perked but quiet. My stomach tightened. Not fear this time, just exhaustion. I opened the door. Karen, again. But this time she had backup, or so she thought. 2 HOA board members stood behind her. Clipboard squad. 2.0, Karen crossed her arms smugly. We've received multiple noise. Complaints about your animal, she announced dramatically, like she was starring in a courtroom drama. He poses a nuisance. The HOA will be taking action. I blinked slowly. He hasn't made a sound all morning. One board member glanced at Milo, who was literally yawning. The other looked unsure. Karen kept going. I have video evidence of incessant barking. I raised a brow. Really? Show it. She froze. Her eyes darted. The HOA men shifted awkwardly. One finally whispered, Karen, maybe we should... She snapped at him. I have proof! That's when Daniel stepped out from his porch, coffee in hand, like he'd been waiting for round 2. Oh, perfect timing, he said calmly. I'd like to see the footage, too. And while we're at it, I hope you're aware filing falsified. HOA complaints can result in immediate arbitration. Karen swallowed, face reddening. And, he added, taking a slow sip, recording audio in this state without consent? That's a privacy violation. The HOA men suddenly found the sky very interesting. Karen sputtered, I'm just trying to keep the neighborhood quiet. Milo laid down again. Not a bark, not even a whine, just peaceful dog energy that made Karen's claims look absurd. One board member cleared his throat. We'll revisit this later. They turned and left. Fast. Karen stood frozen, vibrating with rage and embarrassment. Before you go, Daniel called out smoothly. As of now, every interaction you initiate will be documented and forwarded to the proper channels. I recommend you stop harassing your neighbor. Karen opened her mouth, then closed it. She stormed off, rage-walking like her sneakers were on fire. Daniel turned to me like this was just another Tuesday. She'll either escalate or retreat. Be ready for either, I exhaled. Milo nudged my knee, grounding me. The battle wasn't done. Karen wasn't done. But neither were we. And now? She knew she wasn't the only one who could play the paper game. Karen disappeared for a full day. No door banging, no fake notices, no spying through blinds like an undercover pigeon. Silence. Peace. Sunlight. Coffee, Milo naps. The calm felt suspicious, like the quiet moment in a movie right before the villain jumps out again. And sure enough, she did. At 7:42 the next morning, a police cruiser pulled up in front of my house. My stomach dropped. Milo rested against my leg, sensing tension. 2 officers stepped out, hands on belts, not aggressive, just official. I opened the door before they knocked. Morning, one said. We received a report of an aggressive, barking animal causing a disturbance. Of course, Karen's last stand. Before I could respond, Karen came marching out of her driveway, triumph beaming like she'd just won a neighborhood war. "There!" She pointed dramatically at Milo, who was currently, and I mean literally, lying upside down on the floor with his tongue out like a melted marshmallow. The officer blinked. "That dog?" She crossed her arms. "Yes, he's a threat." Milo sneezed. "If threats came in the form of sleepy cinnamon rolls, sure." Then, right on cue, Daniel walked over, folder in hand. Calm, composed, and radiating lawyer energy so strong it practically had a theme song. "Officers," he greeted, "I represent this household. This neighbor has filed multiple false complaints. We have documented harassment, falsified notices, and attempted impersonation of HOA authority." Karen's face drained. The officer looked at her sharply. "Ma'am, is that true? I was just concerned about safety." She stammered. "He barks constantly." "Actually," Daniel said, handing over printed timestamps, "he was at the vet the day she claims he howled for hours." The officers reviewed the paper. Their expressions said everything. Then one officer turned to Karen. "Ma'am, filing false reports is a serious matter. If this continues, you may face penalties." Her jaw fell open. "Penalties? For trying to protect my neighborhood?" The officer shook his head. "For wasting law enforcement resources and harassing your neighbor." Karen looked between us, seething, defeated. "This isn't over," she hissed. Daniel smiled calmly. "Actually, it is." He handed her a formal cease and desist notice. "Legal and HOA filed. Any further action from you will result in immediate escalation." Karen froze, paper in hand, silent, for the first time. She stormed back to her house, slammed her door, and we never heard from her again, except the occasional glare through blinds, which honestly felt like a trophy. I knelt and hugged Milo, who nuzzled into me softly. Peace. Real peace. Moving here was about healing. I thought I'd found a quiet place. Instead, I found strength, support, and a neighbor who reminded me that bullies only win when you stay silent. We didn't just survive Karen. We shut her down. If you enjoyed this story and love seeing karma in action, don't forget to support the channel. Hit that like button, drop a comment about what part shocked you the most, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss another wild Karen meltdown. Your support keeps these stories coming. And trust me, the next one is even crazier. Until then, stay kind, stay strong, and see you in the next story.